Dale, I see you've got a really nice trike set up to transport your trike back and forth to the flying field. What exactly did you accomplish, and how did this all work out for you? What's the process?
Well, I bought the trike, ordered it, got the measurements for it. While I was waiting for it to get there, I was trying to create something that I could be able to get it back and forth and drive it back and forth at home. So off the measurements that I did, I figured out that my truck needed to have some sort of extension in the back because it wasn't wide enough. So the first thing I did was make a board that would extend the width of the truck of the bed. And based on the measurements that I got off of the manuals, I was able to determine the width of the wheels and the width of the board, and figured out that it was going to have to be wider than my tailgate. Did the same thing for the length and realized that the length was going to be able to still fit inside the bed, but the bed would have to be in an open position.
Okay.
And then I went to Harbor Freight and got the ramps, 3 ramps. They were sold individually, which was nice, so I could buy 3 because we have a trike, so we need those 3. And then I got that. That was the first system that I built. Got it all, lined up, and said that looks like it's going to be about right. Didn't have the trike to test it yet, but the measurements were sufficient.
Okay.
And then I did the winch. Following your advice, I went to Harbor Freight, bought the 2500 pulling winch, and began trying to figure out how to mount it. I was very fortunate because I had the truck rails that were already mounted inside the truck, so I was able to order an adapter. I can't remember the name of the company, but I ordered an adapter that allowed me to hang tools into the back of my truck. I used that same adapter to mount the board onto.
And this is specific for Toyota.
It's this. Well, this is a kind of a generic for all bed rails.
I see.
But the bed rail that was installed was specific to Toyota.
A lot of guys, most of the American pickups will have holes or slots right here,
Yeah.
and one on the other side, right there. And so that what they were doing is that they put their board in here, on here, and then run it across. Do somewhat similar to what you did, which is, I like this. Tell me what you did down below here. This is unique.
So just using I'll call it the tool mount that builds into the bed.
Yeah.
I just simply bolted that into the tool mount.
Sure.
And then created a fulcrum point from the center of it down to the bottom, so it's attached only up here.
But you added this board down here.
Yep.
That was pretty handy.
Yep, and just drilled out the holes so it would match up.
Okay.
And then built the board up. And then I just, I had the approximate height to figure out where the bottom of the wheel would be and what the height of this needed to be. And I think this, now that I've got the trike, I can adjust this downward, so I have an opportunity to put the bed cover back on.
Okay.
I'll have in the winch out.
What a lot of guys were doing was they put a 2x4 here and then a 2x4 there, and then run a 2x6 across the bed here, and then that's where they would attach the winch, which is basically to right there. But you've been able to attach it a little bit higher. You still think it's an advantage?
I think it's an advantage for being able to pull it up for this configuration, but my goal would be to get it down lower so I can get the bed cover back on it.
I see. So you want to take that winch and cut the board
down
and drop it down to where that electric box is.
Correct.
Move the electric box down, and so that you could close put the tonneau cover across and close the board.
And I looked at this. I do have those holes that you mentioned. I could do the same thing, building 2x4s across here. If I was towing something bigger than this, I would consider a more substantial mount for the winch.
Okay.
But this is sufficient for the trike.
Okay.
And then for the electrical, it was just I wanted to keep it simple for now. I just got jumper cables and ran it back.
Okay.
And attached it. I'll get the wiring done
and
later.
The jumper cables are currently now connected to the battery. Well, show us how it works.
All right. Once it's up, I can use the same straps that I used to hold the ramps to the truck.
Okay.
Strap around the tires.
All right.
And then I've got a strapping system through the tires, strapping back down to here. This is strapped to the truck, and I got some straps to put on the inside to tie it down.
Well, very nice. About how much do you think the entire winch system cost there at Harbor Freight?
I want to say $65 for the winch itself. The wood I had laying around. I'm gonna go off of memory, but the ramps were probably $200 and some dollars.
In total?
$270 total.
Okay.
And then the wood, I don't know, $20 for the
Okay.
wood. And then straps, probably another $20 at Harbor
Okay.
Freight because they're very reasonable.
All right, looking good. So you're talking about $350
Yeah,
thereabouts?
yeah.
I can't do the math. I don't have enough toes, but all right, well done. Looks like you've got quite yourself a nice little rig and an easy way to get it to the field. So good success.
Yeah, now
Nice
we just
job.
have fun flying it.
Excellent job.
All right, thanks.